Hello, hello, girlies, and welcome back to another episode of Chatty Rats Valentine's Day edition. I am your co-host, Natalia.
And I am Sheen.
I have a non-alcoholic rosé called
Ooh.
Toast Tosh. I
Yeah.
don't even know
I
how to
think
say
it's
this.
toast.
Okay, so I figured it was perfect for Valentine's Day. And it's
Mm.
essentially juice, I think, because it's just like white tea, ginger, and elderberry. So we're gonna pour one up for oh shit, Valentine's Day, and apparently it's gonna go all over my house. All right. I was not expecting this.
It's giving kombucha.
So it turns out this is sparkling, and I did not know.
Oh, yeah. I thought you knew.
I had no idea. I thought it was just like juice. That's why I
Oh.
said it was like juice. All right. So if you're on video, you know that I just spilled this all over my carpet and myself, but it is what it is. So to pour it up.
I heard the
Yeah.
craziest story that this woman left her kombucha in the fridge for 2 months and tried to pull it out, and it exploded in her hands. Like, combusted, as in like the
Oh
glass
my
shattered. She
God.
had to go to the hospital. So just a little tale for y'all. Be careful of your sparkling things, Miss Natalia.
Apparently so. I am covered in rosé. Thank God I'm wearing black, but my ADHD completely missed the part that said sparkling white tea, ginger, and elderberry. So, anyways, guys, it is sparkling. So let's try it out. It is delicious to drink and to wear.
Really?
Um,
Is it good? Like, how good is it? Because how much are they?
like $13 for a bottle.
For white tea, they just they bamboozled you, Natalia. I'm just kidding.
And I did pour half of it on my body just now. But you know what's so funny about this? So I was with Daniel, my boyfriend, at this like wine place yesterday, and I asked him to point me to the non-alcoholic section. And he
Uh-huh.
like showed me all the options and he like recommended this, whatever. And then like a little bit later, I was like still looking at the spirits or whatever. And I guess Daniel had asked him a question and he asked Daniel, so when is the baby due?
What?
And I was like, what? Daniel was like, there's no baby. And then he was like, oh, sorry, because she was in the non-alcoholic section. I was like, oh my God.
That's hilarious. That means this man only encounters pregnant women in the non-alcoholic section. That's wild.
I was like, are my high-waisted jeans giving vibes? Like, what's going on?
That's
I was offended.
hilarious,
I
dude.
was deeply offended. So yeah, that's the story behind this rose.
So I gotta ask, this is gonna be your first Valentine's Day. That's probably gonna go like really fun and cute and well, right?
Yeah, it's my first one. Well, we will be in Japan when
Oh,
it's
nice. When
Valentine's
it
Day, so
happens.
that'll be really cool. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I think we're gonna be
That's
like in
really
Osaka specifically, so I'm pumped.
Ooh. Oh my God, I'm so excited for you. I was reflecting on because your girl has been in relationships like other Valentine's Days, but I was reflecting on how no one ever did anything nice for me. They would always chalk it up as like, okay, well, your birthday's next week because my birthday is February 20th. So, like, we're gonna go big for your birthday. So that would always be like the go to. And I just like remembered my first boyfriend. I think I was like 19 or 20, but this was like my first, like, kind of serious relationship. You can even say that at that age. And I girl, like, if you have heard of this place, there's this place in LA called Yamashiro. It's like a
Mhm.
sushi restaurant in the Hollywood Hills. It's like a beautiful old vintage like Japanese garden that they've turned into a sushi
Ooh.
restaurant, and there was like a prefix menu, and I went, and this is the story of my life. Like, I knew if I didn't pay and plan for these types of dates, like, it just wouldn't happen. And I really wanted to do these experiences, so I would always be the one that would just, like, chalk it up. So I was just, like, remembering how we went to Yamashiro, and when the bill came, Your girl paid
No.
for it for the entire thing, and I think it was $300. I was, like,
What?
just a baby, barely making money. I was serving at the time, so I had, like, okay money, but that was still, like, a lot for me, and I just
That's a
remember
very expensive dinner. Also, for your birthday/Valentine's, he didn't pay a dime. I'm dead.
I know, and then he was just like, "Thank you, babe." Those are my
Oh my
stories.
god! Well, your next relationship will be full of romance and them taking
I
you
know it.
out. But yeah, I always had shitty Valentines as well because I haven't had a boyfriend all of my 20s. And whatever situationship that I was with, I must have always been just the lowest and of the low on the roster because I was getting a February 15th text completely ignored on the 14th. If they texted me, Sheen, on the 14th, it would be 9 p.m. on the 14th when plans are not possible. No, like a quick, like, happy Valentine's Day. Completely ignored the whole day. So, me and Valentine's Day also just did not vibe romantically.
I feel you. I also don't want anything crazy, but I would just like a little effort, like just like a nice card or flower, like those little things go a long way, like as long as you just put a little thought. But I was just thinking that we both have had such interesting situations with love. So I was like, let's walk back down memory lane and tell some like cringy, crazy dating relationship stories. Cause I thought of some really good ones that I would love to tell.
Oh my god, I'm so excited because I'm the queen of terrible dating and terrible relationships. So, this is going to be juicy.
I've decided to go in the gross category. So mine are going to be very gory and gross.
Oh,
Um, yeah, with like an interesting touch of humor. So I'll start, and then we can switch off. I think that'll be fun. Like I'll do one, you do one, and then we'll continue.
perfect. Let's reminisce of lovers past then.
Lovers past. Okay. So, first story starts with a man that I was in love with at UCLA. Like, this man put me through the trenches, but I was holding on so tightly. Even when I think back, Natalia, I was like, maybe he's like the only man I've like really like been in love with because he had some pretty bad qualities, and I still was like heart eyes for him. But I also think like I sought his validation.
100%. There's a little bit of
Yeah.
anxiety mixed
Yeah,
in there.
exactly. So, what ends up happening is first year going to Coachella, I think it was like 2014 or 15, and I'm going with like girlfriends that I wasn't very close with, but we were all really excited that we're going, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going to get a ride with you guys to Coachella." And I was like, "Fine, sure." Like fill up the car. Like I was driving to Coachella, and he was going to go camp with the SAE boys on the campgrounds and just like
Right.
have like a boys' weekend, whatever.
But you were his
And
ride. I just love this.
I was fine with that because I was like, oh, I'm going with my girls, you're going with your boys, like whatever.
Right.
But anyways, he gets there and the first day he like spends that night with us and then at night he goes and sleeps at the camp. The next
Yeah.
day he's like not down for sleeping at the camp anymore. I could just tell and he's like, "Can I come stay with you?" So like he ends up hanging out with us the whole time. I'm having such a amazing time. 2 years before I had just studied abroad in Spain and me and Spanish guys are like super glue. Like I just don't know what it is. I attract them. It just works. In line at the beer gardens, there's these Spanish guys with Spanish flags. And mind you, this SAE guy that I'm in love with is like standing 10 feet, 20 feet away. And I'm talking to these Spanish guys and like, kiss him, kiss him. His friends are
Oh my
saying
god.
that, the Spanish guys. And I kiss him.
Wait.
Like I was being a messy girl.
Oh my god! Cheat! But also, what a girl's dream. Just you getting attention from other men
I know.
nearby. The guy that, like, isn't being always the best. Nothing better.
Exactly. I know. But he pretended like he didn't care, whatever. So, anyways, we have a great first 2 days. Comes night 3. And like every good festival story, it starts with substances and we're all having fun. And I'm like, you know what? No good thing has come from this sentence. I don't feel it. I should take another one.
1 hour later. Oh, da-dum.
So I will never forget, we're leaving one set, going to Drake's set, and I've never ever felt this way, Natalia, but because whenever I feel like I'm gonna throw up, I feel it and then I have a second to go throw up. This time it was like instant, like projectile. So it happens, I'm running in the field trying to find a trash can. I like leave them. It's me, my best friend, and the SAE guy. I leave them, run to a trash can, try to throw up, and it just like comes out, gets a little bit on my dress. I feel so
Oh.
bad. And I quickly go buy water, drink some water, and it instantly happens again. And it's like on me and my face. And anyway, so that's just disgusting, and I don't have anything to, like, really clean it up with. There isn't, like, anything, and this man is being so sweet about it with me, like, he's like, "I don't care." He's kissing me and being like, "It's okay, don't worry about it." Like, it's fine, and, like, he's has me on his shoulders during this set, just being so sweet and kind, and,
Yeah.
obviously gross. But guess what happens when we get back to campus? What do we think is gonna happen? He gives me a phone call. He loved phone calls. So he gives me a phone call and he says, like, I've been thinking a lot about us. And I was talking to my friend's mom and I was telling her the story about how I didn't care that you threw up. And she was saying, like, oh, wow, like that sounds a lot like love. That's crazy that like you feel this way about this girl and you just didn't care. And he's like, so given all that, like, we need to take a step back.
What? What? I love kissing you while you had throw up all over you. I talked to my friend's mom, my mother, my uncle. We all agree I am in love. So given that, bye-bye.
Yeah. So he says, like, those are just such intense feelings. So I think we should take a step back. So we took a step back.
Oh my god, so toxic.
You're right?
My toxic king.
Oh, he's the toxic king for sure. But yeah,
That's my
that's my
favorite.
story one.
I've had so many guys be like, "I love you, you're my wife, but get the fuck away from me."
This was the quote from him. I'm either gonna be at your wedding, standing up there next to you, or I'm gonna be cheering you on at your wedding. That was like what he would say.
Toxic king, king. Wait, I'm dead. I feel like that's how you know. Like, anytime a guy brings up weddings, marriage, but does not want to be your boyfriend, run away.
Exactly, exactly.
But I love that for you. I mean, throw up
Thank you.
saga, and that's hilarious. I have one that's like a first date situation. This is the scene. I am 21, 22, graduated at UCLA, and then I moved to San Diego. I am a hot girl. I am by the beach now. I get on Bumble. I'm here to fuck around and find out and find my husband now in San Diego because LA did not work out for me. So I get on Bumble and I meet this guy. We're talking. First, like time we hang out, we like get drinks. It goes well. So
Mhm.
we're off to like date number 2. I know nothing about San Diego. So he tells me, well, okay, we're going to go on this hike. And this hike is really beautiful. It can be a little hard, but it's going to end at a beach. This is
Mm.
all he tells me. If you're from San Diego, you'll already know where this is going. The beach is called Black's Beach. And if you're from San Diego, you already know what this means. If you're not, stay tuned. So I go to this hike. At this point in my life, I am not athletic at all. My hobby is
Oh.
drinking. So I'm not athletic by any means. But I'm going on this hike and it's really freaking hard. Like I am borderline having an asthma attack. I'm not having a good time. Nothing about this I enjoy. There's even a point, Shane, where he's like, we have to go down this rope. And I'm like, how desperate am I to find my husband that I'm out here going down a rope? Like, all of a sudden, I am in an episode of Special Forces. I'm like, what is going on? So I'm not having fun at all. And then I also fall down for the rope. Like, I make it like halfway through and then I just fall. And then I remember falling and being so dramatic about it, just like I fell and then I just let myself continue to slide down. I was like, if I go, I go. And so we get there and I'm seeing the beach. And that's when I realize it's a nudist beach.
Oh my god.
Sheen, he took me to a nudist beach without giving me any warning. He knows I am not from San Diego, so I would have no idea unless I Googled it. And I did not Google it because I was like, who cares? All beaches are the same.
Definitely
So
not, I guess. I mean,
it hit me right there and then, but I was like, oh my God, this little perv. For the most part, in nudist beach, it is not the people that you want to be nude that are nude.
yeah. It's a lot of, like,
It's
older men.
yeah, it's older men. This is not the vibe. This is not what I want.
That's such a
And then
odd first date.
such a weird thing to bring me to without any
Creepy.
creepy. We sit down and we're like talking and stuff. And he like looks at me. He's like, "Oh yeah, I thought you knew. Like this is like a nudist beach." And I was like, "Oh no, I got that." And then he has the audacity to be like, "Well, you can take your top off if you like."
Oh my god, Natalia, I would be too stunned to speak.
So that was pretty freaking weird. Now, did we date for 3 months after that? Yes, we did.
Natalia! So what'd you do on that date? Did you take your top off?
Imagine. No, of course not. No, oh
Oh.
my god. Honestly, I was such a people pleaser that I am surprised I didn't. But I was like, "No, thank you." But
Did he?
so freaking awkward. No, I don't think so.
I wonder if that was, like, his move with all the girls, like, on the first date. It's so
No,
creepy.
literally, I should put a picture of him and like, "Are we dating the same guy, San Diego?" and ask, "How is this man asking you out?"
Throw it back. Okay, that's hilarious, though.
So yeah, that's my story. Don't date someone that does that on a second, first date because
Truth,
he
truth.
will ruin your life 3 months later anyways, and it will have all been for nothing, so
That's on you, girl. You had all the red flags hitting you in the face, and you were like, "3
I
months,
love him.
let's do this." So, this one is a pretty gross story, I guess, depending on how you define gross. This one is actually a relationship story. So, I was in a relationship and really excited to meet my partner's parents. I like went and got them stuff and I was just like super excited. Not excited, I guess like anxious to meet them, like nervous and excited and was hoping it was going to go very well. So like we go over, I bring them a gift and like eventually like we all sit down in the living room and I like soon realized like okay, like his parents very very casual people, like
Yeah.
to an extreme. And as the hangout progresses, it gets to this crazy level where the mom is just sitting there and she pulls up her foot. And as she's talking to me, she's pulling off like all the dead skin, kind of,
No.
and then pulling off her toenails and like getting all the gunk out
Ugh.
while she's talking to me. And this is the first meeting, and I was just stunned to speak because in my mind, I'm just like, "Oh my god, I've never been in this situation." Obviously, like, my culture, they would never be caught dead doing that at a gathering, right? So, like, for
Girl,
me, this is like a shock.
nobody's culture should be doing this. That is nasty. That is nasty.
I know, and she kept doing it. In one hand, she was holding all the little, like,
No.
the bubbles, like, the dead skin on one hand, and she just kept pulling it. Like, no one's batting an eye. Like, my boyfriend at the time, this is, like, normal to him, and I was just like, "Am I in the twilight zone? What is happening?"
You're like, Is no one gonna talk about this? No one's gonna bring
No
this
one
up."
did, and so, like, eventually, like, I tell my mom this story. I was like, "Mom, isn't this weird? Like, this is just so strange. Like, this is what happened when I met them." And my mom is like my mom has such a funny mind, but she was like, "That was on purpose." They like they're like, she wanted to show you disrespect, so she did that on purpose. I was like, "I don't know, mom. I don't think it was because no one else was batting an eye." So, that's my other little gross story for you.
Wait, tell me what, my mom is the same way. She'll be like, "They planned this. What if he's doing it on purpose?" I'm like, "In unless they're sociopathic." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, it was so funny. I was like, "I don't think it's on purpose. It's too gross to be on purpose."
Oh my god, yeah, no, that's disgust. So this was, like, you first meeting the parents.
The first time meeting the parents and in their living room while we're, like, talking for the first time.
Well, that's disgusting. Well, I have one that was a pretty bad date, but big shocker, it was actually my fault, not the man's fault. So this story is me supporting men for once. Setting the scene, I think I was like 19, 20, and I was drinking until God knows when. So I had this date of this guy, I think that I met maybe like on Tinder. This is like when Tinder was all hot and
Mhm.
ready, all new. But anyways, I go to this date and I'm so hungover,
Oh
like, and
god.
being hungover at, like, 19 is, like, very hard to achieve. That should tell you the level at which I drank the night before at the frats. So we go on this date, and this is set up to be the longest date of my life, and I learned a lesson from this, but it starts with us getting coffee. I am at the coffee being the worst conversationalist in the whole universe because I wanna throw up.
I don't get why your brain wasn't like, "Let me just cancel a rain check." It was like, "No, we must continue.
I
The show
literally was
must
like,
go
"No, we
on."
must go on this date." No, period, I don't know why. So we get coffee, and then from the coffee, once again, guys, Natalia's pattern, she says yes to a hike. And this guy is talking to me the whole hike, and right away, I'm like, "I don't like him. He's so boring, like, I'm not into him. We do not have the same connection." And I am, like, being, like, a little short, kinda awkward. "Bitch, this why is this hike, like, 2 hours long? I wanna die, and I wanna die the whole time." And I am not having fun. So this is like a warning to people. First date, guys, please make it sure keep it sweet because if the person sucks, then you're trapped in a mountain in the same way that I was.
Truth.
Then he says, "Don't you want to get lunch?" And I say, "I would love to. I do not like this man. I'm having the worst time of my life." And I say, "Baby, of course, let's go." Maybe you'll get a personality during lunch. We get to lunch. I think we're at the Earth Cafe. I don't even remember, like the one near UCLA. So I get there and we get our food, and I pick up the thing of ranch, and the whole thing, I drop it onto my body. So now I'm covered in ranch, and I'm like, fuck. I was like, oh my God, I'm the worst date in the world. Who's doing this to me? Like me, I'm doing this to me. So I drop ranch all over myself. The waitress passes by. She's like, "Oh, girl, like, do you need some help?" So I have to go up, like, go clean myself in the bathroom. We continue to talk and continue to have shitty conversation. And then this is how hungover I am. I go to reach for my water cup and
Oh,
I
Natalia.
punch through and I spill my water cup all over the table. And for more dramatic effect, the cup rolls out of the table and breaks.
Oh, it's a glass cup?
Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh, this is going so well."
Oh my god.
So the date ends finally. At this point, he should be over it by now. He drops me off and he tells me, "You know, I had a lot of fun with you." And in my mind, I'm like, "Honey, honey, where?" Because I was like, I'm a mess. I'm literally shaking right now. To say, "Oh my God, like, thank you so much. Like, I had a great time." Lies. And then Sheen, for the grand finale, I open the car door and I trip and fall on my face onto the curb. So I'm just flat on the floor. And he's like, "Oh my God, like, are you okay?" He like gets out of the car, like freaks out. And I'm like, I'm on the floor, just like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I just need today to end." And yeah, that was the worst day I've ever been on. And it was all my fault.
Moral of the story, men like a damsel in distress. Be the damsel in distress.
And let me tell you, why did he ask me out like a day or two later? Like, I had the best time, like, you're amazing, like, let's go out again. I was like, what?
That's the thing about guys, like, they don't sense the connection thing, like, they can just have a good time on a shitty date.
I like don't get it because I was not really speaking that much. He was carrying the whole date,
That's probably
really,
why he liked it, because he just had an opportunity to
to
just
only
talk.
talk.
Yeah. You're you're a sloppy little girl. What was I gonna say? I have an interesting theory, this is random, about dating. So me and Michelle were talking about it. We're like, either dating is like the floodgates open and it's a tsunami where you're just like match after match, date after date, or it's a famine. Do you agree with that?
100%. Are you kidding me? Like, I've gone through periods where I'm like, hot girl, date, date, another date, 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 date,
Yeah.
then ghost, ghost, ghost. Bye. I have a girlfriend. I don't love you. And then nothing. Ain't nobody want this now.
It's so weird. So I'm going through the famine period and it's been really weird. Like I can't find anyone that I remotely like to go on a date for the life of me. Your girl is trying.
Oh, are you? Are you like on the apps or like what are you doing?
Yes, I'm actually like seriously on the apps. And remember when we did that experiment where I was like, oh, I'm going to try like Hinge Plus and see how much better it is. And my conclusion was it was better. Like the quality was better. It had better matches. So, given my famine and drought, I was like, I'm gonna just bite the bullet. Let's try it and see if it's good again. And Natalia, it's horrendous. I don't know what's going on, but it's just the famine. Famine of the famine, like the Irish potato famine is happening to me. And yeah,
Oh
I don't
my
know what to
God.
do.
I wonder why that is. I've been hearing a lot out of dating apps that they used to be like bumping and like now like damn your neighbors are out here like she's neighbors I feel like are throwing plates across the room. They are
Yeah.
they were wrestling earlier, I think. Like, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
um
my walls are paper thin, I guess.
I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of my girlfriends have been telling me that, like, the quality of the apps, it's just not the same. The last year alone, it has declined
I
a
agree.
lot, and I don't know if people have given up and, like, they're not really, like, signing up anymore or, like, do we need a new app that's, like, better than all of these other apps? Like, what's going on, you know?
Yeah, someone had a theory where when Tinder first started, there was like only Tinder and then it turned into this hookup app. So then Bumble was started from there and Bumble took off and it was more of like a relationship app. And then once it hit its peak, then Hinge came and Hinge really changed the game and was the serious one. And they were saying it's been years since there has been any new app that's kind of challenged Hinge because Hinge has reached almost this level of just not doing what it set out to do. It was meant to be the app that was deleted and it no longer feels like that. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to be one of those people that complains, but I've really been trying to like put myself out there more and I just feel like I haven't really had the opportunity like before. So it's been interesting. I'm considering going on like speed dating and stuff. Like that's what it's coming to.
Wait, that would be so fun. I love that. I'm actually thinking about making a comedy, like, dating show.
Ooh.
Kinda like speed dating, I'm thinking about doing it to, like, single people sign up, and then,
How
like, I
fun.
wanna have, like, questionnaires so that I can, like, kinda, like, play matchmaker a little bit and,
Oh, I
like,
love that.
make it comedic and funny, so
Yeah.
I'm thinking about creating a show like that.
That would be really
So,
fun, dude.
yeah, I feel like we have to bring, like, fun back into dating almost because I
Truth.
feel like for a lot of my friends, it's starting to feel like a chore, like, it's like
Yeah.
a task because the apps aren't apping, and then how do we then met in the wild when we live in a very virtual age?
Mhm.
So, that's a very interesting thing. I wanna marinate on it because, yeah, like, what's the solution now?
Yeah, I think that's also another reason why I'm like, "Oh, I kinda wanna go back to school and, like, go out in the job force because I feel like you're out there more." I'm also thinking of joining, like, this crazy gym in LA because I was like, "Oh, that'll be a good way to, like, network and meet people because it's, like, a co-working space and a gym." So I was like, "That'll
Ooh,
be, like, a good way to meet people." But I think it is these third spaces that hopefully you can meet people because bars are kind of not my vibe anymore. Like, to an extent,
yeah,
yes, but, like, I don't really want someone who's, like, always at the bars. I don't know, so I don't know. I feel like you have to meet people where you want to be
yeah.
met, where it, like, aligns with your lifestyle.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Cause they say that you should meet people by, like, doing hobbies, like, start playing tennis or,
Yes.
like, start doing whatever. So, if there's, like, a hobby that you can get into or a space that you can get into that promotes community so, I even think
True.
about, like, my gym, F45, I know they have, like, a lot of events where, like,
Mm.
members can come, like, mingle outside of, like, the workout classes, so I feel like anything that has that built into it, where, like, you can have community and, like, things then that might be, like, a good option. It's what I would it's I think what I would do now
If you were single.
If I was single, I think I would 100% start, like, taking tennis lessons to see if I could meet people and, like, play doubles with people and things like that, get into, like, that kinda community. So I feel like joining groups, with, like-minded people could be a way to kinda meet other people.
Slay.
That it's, like, very, like, hobby-based, whether it be, like, a hiking group or, like, something that you might be curious about that would bring men in, because obviously sometimes hobbies can be very, gendered. So, like, maybe don't join
Yeah.
Pilates if you wanna
That's the
meet
thing,
men.
like, I feel like even, like, pottery and ceramics is, like it's not super gendered, but I feel like it leans a bit more female to male as far as the
Yeah,
ratios. That's, like, the one I'm interested in. But
yeah.
my dream is to go back to the era of, like, setting up where it was like, "I'm gonna set you up. I'm gonna set you up," and it was like that was, like, the thing. I think that's, like, the best way. I don't know,
I think so too.
because it's, like,
It's just
people
was
who know both sides.
I
But yeah,
totally
that's a
agree.
whole that's a whole other topic.
With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed all of our dating stories, and I hope that you have a fun Valentine's Day too. Even if you are single, at least in Peru, it is Friendship Day. So make it a
Oh,
thing with your
yeah.
girlfriends, have fun, try and enjoy it as well, because it's not just for lovers, it's for friends as well, too. So,
Aw,
yeah.
so true. Love you, little rats.
Bye.
See you next week.